So I recently canceled my show, Shoulda Been a Vita Game, and a lot of people were crying. I'm just kidding, no one really cared. But I wanted to do another PlayStation Vita show because, as you know, Vita, love it, you hear it all the time. I won't bore you by saying the same thing over and over. But I just want to talk about some of my favorite Vita games, and I thought it would be cool to do a show called Vita Highlight, and it's just a game that I want to talk about, give my thoughts on, a game that maybe you had never heard of or weren't interested in. I want to spread the word about how awesome the Vita is. I think it's still thriving a little bit. Obviously, it's way slowed down in the West. There's not much here anymore, but we're still getting a lot of cool indie games and a lot of Japanese games that do make their way to the West. Obviously, that's not like a mass market appeal for it, but there is a niche audience that I'm a part of, and I like to spread the news about how awesome these games are. So I want to start a show called Vita Highlight, and today's the first episode. And I want to talk about Odin Sphere Leifthrasir. I don't know if that's how you say it, because it's like Leifthrasir. I don't know. Boy, where do I start with this game? Whoa, okay, so I had gotten this game for review, but I actually wasn't the one reviewing it. They sent us 2 codes, and my buddy was reviewing it on PS4, and I was doing the PlayStation Vita version. I was just gonna like talk about it, learn about it, maybe talk about it on a podcast, something like that. But I wasn't needing to do the review. But the game took me by so much surprise. This was such an amazing experience my first time playing this game that I can't even fathom how much it's a must-play game. Like, Odin Sphere, this was a game that released originally on PS2, and I had tried to play classic mode on the on the Vita version, and the PS2 version just wasn't as good when it comes to gameplay. It still had the same beautiful art style, the same story and characters, but the gameplay did not feel nearly as good, and I'm glad they updated it on the Vita and PS4 and gave us this amazing Muramasa-like experience. If you haven't heard of Muramasa, that's probably another game I'll do an episode on, because Vanillaware, the developer, they're just killing it every time they release a game. Masters of their craft, I say it all the time. But anyway, back to Odin Sphere. This game took me by so much surprise. I jumped in. Originally, I started playing as the girl. I can't remember the name. Keep in mind, I'm kind of going off memory. Haven't played it recently, but I still want to talk about it. And you're playing as the girl in the beginning, and then you go through the game, and honestly, swear to God, I had never heard of the original, and I played this game. I thought whenever I beat the game, beat her story, that was the end of the game, because it was like 8 hours long. I was like, that was a cool bite-sized experience. I'm loving it. Little did I know, there's freaking like 4 more campaigns or something like that, and I'm just scratching the surface of this amazing game, because her combat felt so good. She has this giant skill tree of awesome attacks that you can get, where you can save up your points, get all different attacks, choose how you want to fight, set attacks to certain buttons, and I'm just like, this is a full game in itself, this one part of her campaign. That's a full game. I would have been done. I would have called it a day and said, Odin Sphere is an amazing game right there. But little did I know, I'm just scratching the surface of this game. There's more characters, and they all have unique fighting styles. They all have different stories completely. They cross over with the other characters. It's all just so awesome. And don't even get me started on the gameplay. The gameplay feels so amazing. You feel like a badass while you're playing, and that's what I love about video games. That's what I love about, like for example, like superhero video games. Infamous, Spider-Man, Batman. Those are the type of games that make me feel awesome. Odin Sphere does the same thing. You feel awesome. You're doing these 100-hit combos, 500-hit combos, and it's just never-ending fun, in my opinion. The game caught some flack because the gameplay can get a bit repetitive, and same with Muramasa, but if you love this type of gameplay, then you never really get bored of it, and that's how I was with it, especially because you get a new character every campaign. You get to learn how they play, and they all fight really differently. There's one character who only does projectiles, mainly only does projectiles, and you have to like relearn the whole game, all because you're playing like a totally different experience, it feels like. But yeah, like I was saying, because I don't think I stressed this enough, Vanillaware masters at making beautiful games. These are some of the most beautiful experiences that you can have, and they're right there on the Vita, they're on the PS4, so they're accessible. If you've played Muramasa, Odin Sphere, Dragon's Crown, they're just breathtaking from beginning to end. The settings are so diverse. You're just pretty much in awe with every battle screen. You're paying attention to the background more than you are the fight because of how detailed everything is. It's just insane in my opinion. So I want to keep these videos short. These are just little Vita games that I want to highlight. This has been Vita Highlight, the first episode. Let me know if you want me to do more episodes. I would love to keep talking about Vita games. Recommend some to me down in the comment section below. And I'm going to keep recommending Vita games to you, the niche PlayStation Vita audience that's still out there supporting supporting me, supporting this channel. I appreciate it. I'll probably keep making Vita content until I die, but I'm hoping Sony will just make another damn handheld. Like, come on, we just want another handheld, Sony! Thanks, guys. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I'll talk to you guys later.